Blog Talk Radio.
Assalamu alaikum to everybody out there in radio land. They say don't say radio land, but I have a habit of saying it. And we're going to talk about Malcolm X. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're listening to this on the World Wide Web. And I thank you for tuning in. And you know what? Tell a friend. But we have a brother named Salim that will be on shortly to talk about the Flaming Crescent Society. And those that love Malcolm, beautiful. Those that have something negative to say about Malcolm, beautiful, because we're going to iron all that out. We're going to show what Malcolm was really all about. He was a beautiful brother. And this show was for everybody, be you Christian, Muslim, Sunni, Shiite, non-believer, you know what, but this is about joining a movement that is working to uplift the conscious level of black people, not just in the United States of America, but all over the globe. And I want to thank people for going to my website. I have a new website, and I want you to subscribe to Underground Railroad TV .webs.com/ I want you to subscribe, and my YouTube website. Go to my YouTube website. Just put in the name Clifton, Clifton Bradley, Bradley, and press the videos. I have a guest, and I'm ready to get them right now. Yes, hello? Okay, you know what, there was a technical problem. I guess he has to call back because I'm still very much learning the system right here. And you know what, but this is a beautiful opportunity for people that might want to call in right now and say something about Malcolm X. What did they think about him? Did they think he was the lover of the people? Opposing views, but you know what, we're going to get some clarification to what he was all about. You know, because for those that don't know anything about Malcolm X, you know what, he was the former second in command of the Nation of Islam, which is headquartered in Chicago at this particular time on, I think it's 73rd and Stony Island in Chicago. And I want to thank people for going to my YouTube website and, you know what, subscribing, because you've given me great response. Anything that I put up about Malcolm. So I have a guest. Okay. Yes, hello? Hello? Yes, hello? Yeah, hold on for 1 second. Yes, hello?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Brother Salim, and we have Brother Salim on, and I want to thank you for, you know what, making a appearance, I better say voiceover on the Underground Railroad Beat the Drums radio show, because you know what, it's a pleasure and honor for you even to take time out of your day to grace us with your presence. I appreciate that.
Well, I want to thank you, Brother Clifton Bradley, for
Yes, sir.
the honor of participating in your program, and I want to commend you for everything that you have done to upraise the spiritual and cultural consciousness of the masses of the people over the years.
Praise to the Allah. That's all I can say. And I want everybody to know that I am a card-carrying member of the Flaming Crescent Society, and I put the advertisement up on my television show. every single Saturday. If it isn't, if it's one Saturday you watch, it's not up there, it's because it's a glitch or something like that. But I want to ask you, you know what, there's people that are listening all over the globe. Man, they want to hear about the Flaming Crescent Society. But first, can you give us a little background on who you are?
Well, let me first of all say that the Flaming Crescent has a website, FCIslamicsociety.org, for anyone that's interested in, finding out further details. But to explain something about myself, I am once again Brother Salim Abdul Khalik, and I founded the Flaming Crescent Society organization and Flaming Crescent newsletter back in 1992 in order to uplift the spiritual and cultural consciousness of our people, taking a lead from Brother Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, known by most of us as Brother Malcolm X. And I was inspired to do so when I was perusing through a publication entitled By Any Means Necessary. And on page 5, Brother Malcolm was asked a question by a news reporter, would he start another publication after he left the Nation of Islam, because everybody that knows the history knows that Malcolm started the Muhammad Speaks newspaper. And so on page 5 of this book, By Any Means Necessary, he was asked the question, would he start another publication? He said yes, he would, and he would name it the Flaming Crescent because he wanted to set the world on fire with truth. So it dawned on me that that had never been accomplished after Malcolm's assassination. And so on the west side of Chicago, I and another brother by the name of Ilyas started a newsletter called The Flaming Crescent, which would continue Malcolm's spiritual and political philosophy.
Now, Kevin, you know what? Now, now there's people that's listening to this all over the world. Now, they can get access to the Flaming Crescent Society publication on the web, too, right?
They can, we're in the process of updating our website right now so that can be done, but there are other publications and presentations that we have produced that are available on the Flaming Crescent website. That's FCIslamicsociety.org, once again.
Okay. Now, you know what? Now, there's somebody, it would be hard for me to believe, but I believe there may be somebody out there listening. Man, who is Malcolm X? I don't know anything about him. That would be hard for me to believe, but all of us don't have the same knowledge. So who was Malcolm X? For those Gnostics that may not know, who was he? Who was this cat?
Well, actually,
I don't mean that in no disrespectful manner by saying cat, though, But,
well, actually, that's an excellent question, Brother Clifton, because I was surprised a few years ago when I was invited to one of the colleges here for Black History Month a few years ago. I was surprised when I spoke to find out that many college students, now these are college students, believe it or not, had never known anything or hardly anything at all about who Brother Malcolm was and what he had done for black people. And I was absolutely shocked. Many of them had never even heard of the autobiography of Malcolm X. And this is an indictment on any educational system and even the black family in that they have failed to educate our youth about the legacy of our great ancestors, not just Brother Malcolm, but Marcus Garvey, Dr. King. Many of them don't even know what Dr. Martin Luther King has accomplished for our people, even though his name is, constantly in the news.
Okay.
But to answer your question about Brother Malcolm, Malcolm was what I call, what Ossie Davis called once the Black Shining Prince. I say that Brother Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz was one of the princes of Almighty Allah that was sent to this planet Earth in order to arouse the black consciousness and the spiritual consciousness of a lost people. And, for those that may not know that much about Malcolm, Malcolm went through several transitions. Of course, he first started off as Malcolm Little in, I believe, born in Lansing, Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, and he left there and, went to Boston and New York, where in the streets of Boston and New York, he was known as Detroit Red for his hustling, exploiting criminal activity. He later on got locked up, and in the penitentiary, he had such a disgust for religion or anything moral that he was nicknamed Satan. However, he was blessed through his family members, to make contact with the teachers of the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And let me just say this for all of those people out there who think sometimes that in uplifting the persona of Brother Malcolm, that I am trying to take something away from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let me first acknowledge that there could not have been a Brother Malcolm without the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. However, there could not have been a Elijah Muhammad without Farad Muhammad, and there could not have been a Farad Muhammad without Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
So we must give credit to where credit is due.
You're very perceptive. That was going to be my next question. You're very perceptive.
Yes.
That was where I had to restructure my question. Now, there are people that are listening. First of all, for people that want to get in on the conversation, okay, but it is 1-347-215-8679. If you have a question about Malcolm, about the condition of black people, call. But I know you're listening because I see the statistics every single day. But there are people out there that say, hey, man, I love the Nation of Islam. I love the Nation of Islam. With all due respect to, how can you not honor, how can you put the student before the teacher? Now, there may be somebody out there asking that question right now.
Yes, yes.
So what would be your response? Well, there may be some people that may look at it as a dishonor that you're honoring the student before the teacher.
Well, again, we cannot put the cart before the horse. This is true. However, again, let me reiterate that if we say that you cannot honor Malcolm without honoring Elijah Muhammad first, then you cannot honor Elijah Muhammad without honoring Farad Muhammad. And then before Farad Muhammad, you cannot honor him without honoring Prophet Muhammad, to whom the Quran, the Holy Quran, the book that Muslims all over the world, I don't care if you're a Shiite Muslim, I don't care if you're a Sunni Muslim, I don't care if you're an Ahmadiyya, Nation of Islam Muslim, you must come through the Holy Quran. And the Holy Quran, which is the book directly from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, says that this book was given to Prophet Muhammad, who is the seal of the messengers and the prophets.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, I have to ask you now, I'm digressing right now. You know what, I would be dismissed because, you know what, there's a celebration that is going on and goes on in Chicago every single year to celebrate the life of Brother Elijah, to celebrate the life of Brother Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, Savior.
You know what, brother, can you go ahead, because I got to get off for 1 minute, but you can talk to the people, please, please. Just I need a couple minutes.
Well, again, I was finishing up on the illustrious life of Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, Brother Malcolm X, and I was pointing out that after he became incarcerated, that he was blessed through members of his family to make contact with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam, and he later on became a member of Elijah Muhammad's organization, and he became Elijah Muhammad's most illustrious member. It was Brother Malcolm. You cannot take any credit away from this brother, as some so-called members of the Nation of Islam would like to do. You cannot take any credit away from this brother in the magnificent work that he did from coast to coast in uplifting the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and establishing, going throughout America, establishing the temples of Islam from New York all the way to California. You cannot take any credit away from that. You can argue that Malcolm wasn't this and Malcolm wasn't that, but you cannot change the fact that Malcolm X was helped put Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam on the map.
Yes, sir. Now you know what you have a celebration that is going out to celebrate the life of Brother Malcolm X. And can you tell us about the celebration? But this goes on every single year. So what should people do about next year, about getting ready for the celebration, and what's going to go on at the event tomorrow?
Well, every February during Black History Month, we do what we call an annual tribute to Brother Malcolm X, and this is around the February the 21st, which was the date of Malcolm's assassination. That's every Black History Month. But however, this being May and getting close to the date in which Malcolm was born, May 19th, here in Chicago, on Chicago's west side, tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. at the Dawa Oil Palace, which is located at 3345 West Chicago Avenue. Once again, at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, Sunday, we're giving a little small Malcolm X birthday commemoration. And we will be playing some of Malcolm's speeches. There will be speakers. We're going to have a discussion, and there will be refreshments in order to acknowledge this great brother. When people ask me why do I like to talk about Malcolm X so much, I just reply by saying that you have people that work in the Martin Luther King department. You have people that work in the Marcus Garvey department. I happen to work in the Malcolm X department.
I like that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Now, you know what? Again, people that are listening, are monitoring, that want to get in on the conversation, if it's convenient for you. Because, I know you're listening 24 hours a day. The telephone number is 1-347-215-8679. You know what now? I am a card-carrying member of the Flaming Crescent Society. What is the criterion of the requirement to become a card-holding member, and what's the expectations?
Well, there are some. We have the Flaming Crescent Society actually has an agenda. We call it the aims and objectives of the Flaming Crescent Society, and these are facets of the agenda is printed in every issue of Flaming Crescent newsletter, my brother. The first thing that you must do in order to become a card-carrying member of the Flaming Crescent Society is simply be a Muslim. It is a requirement that anyone who declares their faith in Islam must, of course, take the Shahada. But once you become a supporter of the Flaming Crescent Society, you must understand the agenda. Every organization must have an agenda, and our agenda, if I could run over them real briefly and quickly as I can, number one, we stand for the promotion of Islam. Number two, we stand for peace and nonviolence in the African American or black community. Three, we stand for foreign business economic reciprocity, meaning that, we demand that those foreigners in our community must do business in our community with justice. Number four, we believe in political education and voter registration, but we do not believe that this current political system is a panacea. In other words, what Malcolm said concerning that, point four, was that we must be intelligent voters when we vote and only vote for sincere candidates who have the best interests of the black community. Number five, the Flaming Crescent Society stands for ending racism and white supremacy. Number six, we stand for leadership accountability, believing that all leaders must be made to account to the masses of the people for their action and wealth. Number seven, we stand for cultural education. Malcolm said that we must have a knowledge of the past to prepare for the future. So we believe in knowing about our history, and we don't believe that there's a separation between Islam and our African past. Number 8, an end to vices and hazardous food use. We're against drug addiction. We're against alcoholism. We're against cigarettes, and we're any toxic use of any toxic substances which destroy the health of the black community. Number 9, we stand for a cleanup campaign. That is the responsibility upon us to clean up our own surrounding environment. Number 10, community security and crime prevention. Malcolm used to teach that the black man himself must get up and stand up to protect the homes and our families against those that would take advantage of us. Point 11, unity and black integration first. What do I mean by that? We acknowledge that all Muslims of all different faiths are brothers, but we as Muslims and followers of Brother Malcolm believe that we are obligated to, as black people, to unify with each other first. How can we have unity with other people when we're divided amongst ourselves? And Brother Malcolm used to say we don't catch hell because we're Baptist, Methodist, Pan-African, or Muslim. We catch hell because we're black. That's point 11. The last point of the agenda is to uplift our women and the family. We believe that there must be a special effort to uplift the women in the African-American community, because the Quran says that we must respect our wounded boys. So those are the basic principles and agenda of the Flaming Crescent Society, my brother.
Okay. Now, I'm going back to ask a question about this. Now, what if there is a person that you already stated, but I'm reaffirming, what if there's a person that is not a Muslim, is a good-hearted person, whether they be Christian, atheist, I just want to join this because it sounds so right, but you're saying they excluded from joining?
No. Actually, we have a wing. We have a wing of the Flaming Crescent Society called the Black Community Task Force. We recognize that there are going to be many people who sympathize with us and who would like to join on, but they are not Muslims. Some of them may be Christians. Some of them may be Hebrew Israelite. Some of them may be just plain Pan-Africanists or black nationalists. We do not exclude these people. We have an organization or with a wing of the Flaming Crescent Society called the Black Community Task Force, and we are encouraging people to join the Black Community Task Force who do not want to be Muslim, but who want to join in with us in order to correct many of the social ills of the black community. Those that there might be brothers and sisters who want to get out on the street corner with us, to do something about the gang violence that's going on. Well, we welcome their support through joining the Black Community Task Force.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, listen, somebody just listening to this week today, I would say, man, this is fine. I want to join. What do they do? Who do they get in contact with? Email, telephone? What do they do?
They can, once again, they can log on to our website, fcislamicsociety.org, or they can call 312-409-3359 and leave a voicemail message, and someone will get in touch with them. And they can also come out to our monthly meetings by simply calling that number, once again, 312-409-3359, and every now and then we leave a voicemail message on there relating when and where will be our next meeting.
Now, you know what I heard, one of the mission statements, correct me if I'm wrong, is to hold the politicians accountable. What is the Flaming Crescent Society doing to hold the politician accountable and make sure that they tell lies before the election, but once they get in, they seem to ignore? What is it specifically doing to keep them in check? For those that don't understand on the streets, that means to keep them in their place and do what they hold them accountable. Okay.
Well, you see, brother, this is one of the reasons why Brother Malcolm said that we must indulge in political education and voter registration. Malcolm used to say, register, but don't cast your ballot just to say that you're voting. I know I hear on the radio all the time up here in Chicago, these radio hosts saying, get out the vote, 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 vote. But this is unintelligent, my brother. It's stupid. It is plain ridiculous for black people to vote for people they know nothing about, or to vote for people who've demonstrated they don't have the best interest of the black community, and who simply have not done anything for black people. So Malcolm said, registering to vote but not just casting your ballot is like putting the bullet in the gun but only pulling the trigger when you see the target in sight.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things that we can begin to do in order to hold these politicians accountable is to, number one, not vote for them, and let them know in mass protests and through organization that we are dissatisfied with them, and that we're going to remove them from office when they don't keep their promises. There must be mass organization. There must be mass protests, against politicians, like Obama, who has seen fit to answer the needs of all the other ethnic groups, but have done nothing heretofore to address the mass unemployment that's going on in the black community.
Yes, sir. So basically, what you say is to hold protests is a way of making them accountable by making the people aware of the trickery that they use.
Well, we must first have mass political education. I think one of the best books that we could read on political education is the book By Any Means Necessary by Malcolm X. This is what I call Malcolm's political Bible. Malcolm's political Bible. Everybody must go out and obtain a copy of the book By Any Means Necessary, By Any Means Necessary, because this is the book that educates us on how to hold the political system and the politicians accountable.
Yes. Now, we talk about the political system, okay? Well, something I would really like to know is, in Chicago right now, there's talk, the crime, it's like Dodge City around where I live at. People don't know what Dodge City is. It was guns and shootouts and, and the water was involved, a lot of gunshots. Now, they're talking about bringing in the National Guards to quarantine to slow down the process of the crime that's going on in the community. Is this a good idea? I'm talking about in Chicago. Is this a good idea in your opinion?
Brother, my personal opinion is that I personally believe that if Brother Al-Haj Malik Shabazz were on the scene, he would condemn this. He would condemn this as part and parcel of the New World Order plan to bring the black community up under police state and martial law.
Yes, sir.
I think it is plain ignorant on the part of certain people in the elements in the black community to call for the black community to come up under the National Guard, because if the National Guard comes in, they may end up killing more people than black people are killing. I mean, look at what happened in the 60s and the 70s during the riots. Look at all the people that the National Guard came in and did harm to.
Well, let me bring it to you from be a pundit. Now, I'm a pundit. I say, you know what? There's so much crime in the community. Those people ain't doing nothing but talking. We need, because it's old people that I have spoke to in the community, and they are scared to come out of their houses at night. So what would you say to people that had that mind for saying, I have done nothing against the law, so therefore I have nothing to worry about? Devil's advocate, Shaitan's advocate, but you go ahead.
Well, again, if Brother Malcolm in the book By Any Means Necessary, Malcolm put the onus for the protection of the black community on black men. He didn't put it on the police department or the FBI, because Malcolm said that they were part of the problem. Malcolm said in the book By Any Means Necessary, wherever there's crime in existence, he said it's not in existence without the help of the police. So why would we call the fox in to protect the chicken coop? You understand what I'm saying, my brother? It's up to the black men. The Italian men do not come in or expect the National Guard to come in to protect the Italian community when there's crime in the Italian community. The Chinese over in Chinatown do not call for the National Guard to come in when it comes to protecting the Chinese community from crime or criminal activities in Chinatown. Brother, this is plain madness and a slave mentality for us to expect white folks to come in and do for us what we should be doing for ourselves.
Yes, sir. So that's what you would say to the old and the young that don't have the knowledge to understand what can transpire and would transpire if this action takes place.
But first, we have to put everything in the proper perspective. We have to understand that unemployment in the black community is part and parcel of a master plan because they know that once people are unemployed, men are unemployed, they're going to lean more toward criminal and illegal activity. My brother, remember, by any means necessary, Malcolm said that the crime in the black community cannot exist without the help and support of the white power structure. This is all part of a plan. And we counteract the plan by getting our people together, those that have wealth, those that have the scientific and economic know-how. They must get together, number one, to do something about the existence of unemployment in the community, and then, secondly, the black men in the black community must get out and patrol their own community. We must police our own community. We can't depend on white supremacists, Ku Klux Klansmen in blue uniforms or green army uniforms to come in and do for ourselves what we should be doing.
Brother Salim, it's something that's interesting in me, and you can shine a lot of light on it about taking away guns from people in the inner city of Chicago by offering them $100. But what is the reason they do that, but they don't do that in the deep old South where they have militias, okay, and they go around practicing target practice? What's the reason?
You don't hear nothing about no programs for them to go out in the white suburbs, the Chicago white suburbs, and all them white gangs, the white street gangs, the Ku Klux Klan, the neo-Nazis. There's no program to take guns away from them.
Yes, sir.
I say this is something that we ought to be very suspicious of.
Yes, sir.
Especially with the coming and put it in the place of the New World Order. Malcolm said that if we're not careful, we're going to find ourselves up in gas ovens just like the Jews were in Nazi Germany.
Yes, sir. Now, you know what? Now, Chicago, now people that's listening all over the world, Chicago has great public figures here. You got a Minister Farrakhan, you got Reverend Jesse Jackson, and President Obama himself. Why couldn't they collectively work to curtail the crime that was going on in the community? I'm going to get to Obama next, but go ahead.
Well, you know what, brother, I will say this much. I am aware of the fact right now. There's an organizational activity on the part of the Moorish Science Brothers, some members of the Nation of Islam, and other black groups right now to come together to try to do something about the crime problem and the black-on-black violence in the black community right now. In terms of the other organizations, NAACP, Operation Push, and many of the other bourgeois, upper middle class type organizations, I'd say that they fail to do this because they don't really have a concern about the black community, my brother. Many of these organizations are actually run by white people. White people give these organizations their financing, and therefore many of these people, these organizations and these leaders are curtailed from certain things that need to be done for their own people. And so this explains the great divide and also the confusion that exists when it comes to dealing with the needs and the aspirations of the black community.
Okay. Let me tell people, people that don't know, we're arranging something where Brother Salim may be on the Underground Railroad on the 12th of May. That would be a live show, okay, on CAN TV, but it will be posted on YouTube for people all over the world. But let me ask you something. But Obama got elected, there was euphoria. People were elated. People don't know what elated means. They were happy. They were joyous. He said he was going to bring about change. There were even people crying in the streets. Do you think he's going to bring change?
The only change I think will come about when the sincere grassroots people and organizations come together to bring about the change, my brother. If we go back to the civil rights movement, the black liberation movement of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, these organizations, these people were grassroots organizations.
Yeah.
The change never came about from the so-called elite intelligentsia, the so-called educated, the upper-class, wealthy people in the black community or white community, because the change that would be brought about would not be in their interests.
Yes.
You see, they're interested only in preserving the status quo. So we studied those movements of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, brother. Again, it was always the grassroots people that brought about the change, even going back to the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It was the grassroots, poor and oppressed people that joined in with Prophet Muhammad, studied the history, to bring about a change in Mecca. You see, even during the time, if you go back to the time of Jesus Christ, you see, it was always the poor and oppressed that joined in with that prophet in order to attempt to bring about a change in the so-called Holy Land, you see. So we will never see a change come about on the part of the power elite, because they're interested in preserving the status quo, and that goes for Obama. Obama must serve the interests of white supremacy. You understand what I'm saying? He was coming in there, really trying to make some change from the bottom, from the top down. It's no way that he would have been allowed to be put in that position.
So in essence, redirect my question. Are you saying that he is part of the New World Order? He's an integral part.
I'm saying that if he wasn't in the beginning, he is a part of it now. Because there's certain things that as President of the United States, that we shouldn't even think about that he's going to do. He's even come out himself and stated that he's against black people receiving reparations for 400 years of slavery and oppression.
Yes, sir.
So how blatant can that be?
Why would he show love towards gay rights? Ask, don't tell. Go to the Confederate grave and honor the Confederates that were killed. The Confederates are people that died that Trump wanted to keep people enslaved. But he'll say, you know what, man, I'm going to honor them. He ain't showing no love to black people because he's a little afraid that they may reject me. Wow.
Exactly. I mean, he shows love and respect to every ethnic group but his own kind. This is indicative of a person that's suffering from cognitive dissonance. I'm sorry, brother. I have to spit the truth, the raw, naked truth, as only as I know how to do it, following the tradition of Brother Alhad Malik Shabazz and many others that came to wake our people up and shake our people up.
Yeah. Now, with somebody listening, man, all these people with these conspiracies, man, I don't believe in that. It's an assessment, like the Tuskegee experiment, but I'm interviewing you, though. There's somebody that said, man, all these people with conspiracy theories, I had conspiracies.
Let me respond to that. Let me respond to that by saying that if I'm only a conspiracy theorist, the person who doesn't believe in conspiracy, what does that make them? A coincidence theorist, that everything happens by accident? I mean, if you don't believe in conspiracies, what is the Ku Klux Klan? The Ku Klux Klan is still in existence, and they're constantly conspiring to bring about the downfall of black people. You mentioned the Tuskegee incident. That's well known, throughout history. I mean, wasn't that a conspiracy to deny black men medical treatment after the government knew that they had contracted syphilis? That's a conspiracy. Conspiracy is defined by Webster's dictionary as secretive coming together of two or more people for illegal purposes.
Yes,
Conspiracies happen every day. Anytime that you open up the newspaper and you read about a criminal act committed in secret, with secret intent, that's a conspiracy. So conspiracies happen every day of the year,
yes,
365 days.
Yes, sir. We got 5 minutes left, and I want to ask you to address the people over in Europe. You know what? They have a little law where they don't want the woman to wear the hijab. So there's people that's listening in Europe. So what would you say to them?
I would say to them that the actions of governments banning the hijab or the head covering of the Muslim sisters is hypocritical. Why do I say that? Why do you say that, Brother Salim? Do you want to just be controversial? No, I want to speak the raw, naked truth. You have Catholic nuns who dress just like, almost identical to Muslim sisters, but there's no one calling for them to remove their head covering or their long dress. So how can you demand that Muslim sisters do this? This is hypocritical, it's racist, it's prejudice, and the whole world needs to stand up against it.
Yes, sir.
The Muslim women should have the right to wear a long dress, just like you give a woman the right to wear a miniskirt.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, there are people that's listening in Africa right now. Was AIDS invented to wipe out people of color all over the globe, but they really want to do it in Africa, basically?
Well, a lot of evidence that's coming out, brother, is lending credence to the theory that AIDS just didn't, come about by accident. I mean, there's several books. Dr. Alan Cantwell Smith documents this in one of his books. Dr. Lynn Horowitz, in his book, Ebola and AIDS, Emerging Viruses, is the name of the book. He has put out documented facts, showing that this is in all probability. So it's not just people like you and me that believe that this is true, but we have documented researchers. Again, they're named Dr. Lynn Horowitz and also Dr. Alan Cantwell Smith. Look up their information on the internet to find out documented information about this.
Okay, now your event is we got 2 minutes left. Your event is taking place tomorrow, and it'll be done next year too. But how do they join the Flaming Crescent Society, and how do they donate money? What do they do?
Well, once again, we have a website, fcislamicsociety.org, and I can also be contacted through a phone number, 312, area code 312-409-3359. I invite the public to come on out tomorrow. That is on Chicago's west side, 3345 West Chicago Avenue at Dawa Palace at 2:30 p.m. Join in with us. If you have any questions, we'll be glad to ask and also take new membership. And the one thing I'd like to say in closing, good brother, is that the Flaming Crescent Society is designed to uplift the message of Islam in a positive way and deal with the misconceptions that have gone on about it. It's not about terrorism. It is about peace. Get you a copy of the Holy Quran and understand that Islam means peace and submission to the will of God, and a Muslim means one who obeys the will of God. That's all that word means.
Okay, I want to thank you for being a guest, and I hope that we can, on the 12th, we can do a show talking about the Flaming Crescent Society, and I most certainly thank you.
More than glad to, my brother.
All right.
And I thank you once again, and I greet the audience with the greetings of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, and you can see Brother Salim on my website. Just put in the name Clifton Bradley and go to YouTube, and you can see him on there. You're doing excellent on my website, too.
Thank you, good brother.
All right.
Keep up the good work.
All right, brother. I look forward to, inshallah, seeing you tomorrow, and assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullah.
Yes, sir. So, everybody, this was an excellent interview, and, go to my website. Subscribe to Underground Railroad TV. .webs.com and watch the Underground Railroad tonight in Chicago if you live here on Comcast Channel 19 at 10:30. But you can see the Underground Railroad at YouTube. at YouTube, just put in the name Clifton, Clifton, Bradley, Bradley, and call me. Call me with feedback, 773-416-7555, 773-416-7555. To Europe, Asia, Japan, Central America, hey, Assalamu alaikum to y'all. Take care.